100% of the time Sunshine gets in too much heat, she throws everybody under the bus. People will clip, they'll crop things, and they'll claim things like it was supposed to be another context, and then claims made about that will give the general public a false idea on what the true context actually was. Normally to trigger fear, anger, something that will get them to act now and research later. Because if you act now, the damage is done, and you have to deal with the cleanup process later, and the person that triggered you into doing it, well, they got what they wanted anyways. We've all seen it. We've all seen text messages that are clipped. We've all seen videos that are just snips of the videos with zero context whatsoever. We've all seen that used as definitive proof that somebody is guilty of something to continue to perpetuate hate to that person. Once somebody, like when people want somebody trying to gather up as many people as they could to do as much as they could, it removes the one-on-one aspect that I've always liked to everybody versus that person and people that don't even have anything to do with TikTok. How many times have you seen people's husbands get called?
Listen, mister, I'm still picking a fight with Dora and T, and I don't involve nobody.
Exactly.
I make comments on somebody's page, but it's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You don't clip shit. But the truth, you don't clip shit. So
right.
There's that.
So that is.
But you said who's somebody.
Oh yeah, no, there's a ton of. But what's Dora doing to you? She tries to platform against you by telling people lies, by not being honest about how that friendship ended, by trying to spin the narrative and say, well, it's not my fault, guys, and attack them. And those are the two sides. One side does not want 200 years of just different like conflicts, and people are tired of fighting everyone else's battles. Nobody's ever fought my battles. I've always, did it. I've joined up and spoke with people, but it's never been like a plot of so many that do. Dora with Jen is Stronger. That's an example where both parties can be wrong on different aspects. Is Jen is Stronger right? Absolutely not. Is Dora right for what she did to her? Absolutely not. Just her? Absolutely not. Just because somebody is wrong does not mean you're allowed to be wrong to them. Things don't get made whole by everybody being wrong. So, if you post a video on TikTok and you say something outrageous, bougie stole his facts, and we got to start properly defining what an opinion is. Opinion is not fact. Even if I sat here and I told you a fact that the sky is blue, it is not a fact until you verify that the sky is blue. Even if you know the sky is blue, but from the last time you've seen it to the next time you see it, it could have changed colors, so you've got to go verify it, and then it can be verified as fact. With independent research that goes for everything, every claim against me, anybody, every receipt that's shown, everything, every part of it has to be independently researched by talking to the people that's involved in it. Talking to the people that's involved in it. Did I write a book? No, I read a lot. You're not going to get diversified research because diversified research cannot be published by one individual unless it comes from multiple individuals That's why it's called diversify. You have to check the opinions of multiple sources, not just opinions that are, they found the same article you did and they reposted it. Multiple independent studies have to be seen to be able to get a factual basis. When the argument involves two people, let's say Rem and Dora, you have to get Rem. It did not mean that I had to disassociate with Dora, because even for a while there, I was still associating with Dora. People can be wrong, and hopefully they make up for it. I don't associate with Dora no more. Honestly, it's too much of exactly what I'm talking about. Too much pandering to the public to, get people to silence everyone else. So, take whatever argument it is. If there's any kind of vagueness, then that's a red flag. If I were to ask Rem for what happened between Rem and Dora, Rem would be able to tell me with full detail, with full context. But if you ask Dora what happened between them, there would be vagueness, because they leave parts out when they want to hide that to spin their narrative. First, don't just listen for when they said it. Listen to the full 2 hours. Look at the lead up to it. And then go and find out what kind of hostility was building or what happened exactly. Talk to other people that witnessed it. Conflict, and that person that's in that conflict isn't even allowed in the same room as the person talking about him. And that's a big red flag too. You got to look at the incentive of why people will lie. Rem doesn't make money off of the app or have a platform or even desire any kind of attention from the general public. Whereas Dora has the incentive of building a platform and making money. What reason does Rem have to lie? What reason does Snark have to lie? What reason does, Sunshine have to lie? Well, Snark, you could say that Snark has a platform, but Snark doesn't actively try to grow her platform. She goes live, she says how she feels, and goes on about her day. Sunshine, if the quality of the evidence that you yourself had independently went out and researched is there, then you can be certain that your determination is correct. If it's not, you cannot, and then promise receipts and show nothing. Because the damage is done. You made people think this. You got her attacked. Because of why? Say the wildest claims, and people would believe it. No proof, no nothing. Just believing it. Then, and I did too. Not even gonna lie, me and Bougie went at it at first. And that shit was my fault too, because I never stopped to have a conversation with her. But when I did, that's when the evidence became clear that I was in the wrong, they're in the wrong, that Petty was in the wrong, that none of that shit actually happened. Right. Well, and here's an example of the Bougie situation. The same stuff over and over and over, disregarding evidence that they have seen and evidence that they have access to out of malice. You see Smashley doing it. You see Dora doing it. You see a lot of people doing it. Stuff that has been displayed to the public. And it's just not a good thing to do when you're doing it to have somebody attacked by the masses. So everybody talks about platforms and stuff like that. Nobody's ever going to be able to change Petty's mind about what to platform Nobody's ever going to be able to change Dora's mind, Smashley's mind, none of that. Nobody's ever going to be able to talk them into it. How can you do independent research if there's no research to do it on? I can say all day that Bougie stole my fucking grill, and then I get off TikTok and whatever. There's a few of you are gonna say, "Fuck Bougie, she stole his grill," but what evidence did I provide? None. You got to really resist. You got to really resist the engagement bait. Anybody who's outraged, anybody who's screaming, yelling, or overly sad, or in an emotional state, you got to resist that, because when you consume that content, you begin to mimic either the anger that they're putting out, the hate that they're putting out, and if they're in a vulnerable position, you begin to feel empathetic towards them, and then you begin to feel like you need to do something for them. And there are people out there that use emotional manipulation tactics like that to get what they want from the public. Notice, as an example, Miss Sunshine, claiming that she was going to lose her Social Security, that she's under investigation by the FBI, all that shit. So you can pre-bunk stuff. Like, there's debunking, which disproves it, and then you can pre-bunk, which is really easy to do. Get the evidence, and then figure out that Bougie was not in the same area as me at the time that I claimed that she did that. It's pretty easy. You don't sit and argue over an airline ticket for 4.5 hours just because you want somebody to be wrong. Don't listen to one person. So many people go to Petty and listen to Petty, and then Petty says, well, if I see you over there, I'm blocking you. There's a reason for that. With date, evidence, and facts. And the best way is to remember where you're at. Remember what side of TikTok we're on. We're not on a good one. It's like we're on an extremist side of TikTok where everybody is incredibly self-centered and they show. To use Sunshine as an example, she wants to piggyback off of everybody else to raise herself up. You never see Sunshine assist other people in coming up. You see her pretend by, attacking people for people. But Sunshine knows that it doesn't matter who she attacks, because if she's willing to attack somebody, Scammy Claus. She went live and doxed Scammy Claus and talked all type of shit about Scammy Claus, knowing that the second Scammy Claus needed help, Scammy Claus's morals that don't exist would be ready to invite her on over and be best friends with her. If you see people who just last week were fucking doxing each other and fighting and arguing, come together a very short time after, specifically to attack somebody, you can tell that their bond was made out of hate. And eventually, it turns into them fighting with each other. I would put any amount of money on Miss Sunshine and Scammy Claus having a big blow-up argument over who, I don't know, anything really, because they're not assisting each other. They're accepting each other's help in a self-centered way, and it never works. A good example of not being self-centered is, look at Bougie and I. Once we got to know each other, have you seen a big blow-up argument? Did we fall out? Absolutely not. We're not even not even on the path to falling out. Like, that's not even an idea. I can confidently say there's many people on this app that you'll never see me go live and shit talk. Bougie's one of them. Snark is another one. Rim. You know, hundreds of people. You know, hundreds of people that I would be able to work things out with privately and not have any concern about some big blow up happening and then them trying to go take advantage of people who might be emotional or might be able to be emotionally manipulated to attack. So, we're all allowed to have personal feelings. We're human, all of us. We're human, all of us. First, you can't deny other people. And that means that if you're allowed to have an opinion, anybody else is too. You can't be mad at somebody for having an opinion because you have them too. When you turn your opinion into public on TikTok, where people claim to have platforms, they build them with tactics that rewards speed. It rewards emotional harm, invoking emotions where like they'll get what they want now, kind of like Sunshine did. And it gets people to react without the full context, which causes that harm. Emotionally charged to do it. Do you think Petty ever thinks about how the people that have attacked people for him feel when they find out that it was false? No. This is not like to, hundreds of people. The vast majority of people are reasonable. With a group of people who can never be wrong, you have to keep up that appearance. You can't be the only one that says, I was wrong. Look what happened to me. I was wrong about Bougie. Everybody swarmed. 45 minutes of yelling at me by Holly Mae and Miss Unknown. Why? Because that fundamentally ruined the narrative that they were going for. They couldn't have anybody advocating for Mittens. I'll never forget the 600 people in Queen of All Trades Live that were shitting on Mittens and then wanted to shit on Muffin Man. And it's like, whoa, you get finished, people. I had messaged Mittens after that. That's where I first started talking to Mittens. And during that whole live, nobody said shit about the crack fight me and being racist. Nobody did. Out of 600 people, go back and watch it. Nobody said anything about it. But when I contacted Mittens privately, I waited about a week to get Mittens' full side without, asking any detailed questions. And I realized that Mittens did not mean it in a racist way. I told Mittens to research, and Mittens did. Education. Turn it around later. The education that Mittens put herself through was used against her by Smashley, by a lot of people, but Smashley in particular.
Black American history that has been whitewashed and covered up. So there's a lot that really all of us need to learn about.
Right. Like Miss Sunshine's claim of the Irish people were slaves first. That's a whitewash of chattel slavery, that it diminishes the unique slavery that America presented to people of color. And The thing is the only reason that was used against you was to spin a narrative against you and to get people to attack you. Because what is a topic that gets people riled up? Racism. When Smashley sat there and said, well, you made that racist me. Excuse me, 600 people in Queen of All Trades Lab, including Smashley, didn't see it as racist. I brought it up to Mittens as it could be considered, you should research it as advice. And she did. And she was attacked for it. So why are we attacking people for educating themselves? Are we afraid that we're going to allow some kind of equality if we're all educated? Because that's the only answer that I can come up with. If anybody has any opposing opinions, they're more than welcome. It's a fact that we have to own and look at. It's the only way that we're going to be able to do better. And that same goes with all the issues that we face personally with one another on this app. It just spirals out of control.
People that like hate us, like if all the people that hate me took like a fraction of the time that they put into hating me into learning something about America's history, especially stop being ignorant, stop hating people just because you want to hate them, and maybe like listen to what is going on. Most people are listening to respond, they're not listening to understand. So everyone who
but there's a reason why people hate Bougie, Mittens, me, Mallory. There's a reason why they hate. And if you look at Justice for All's page, you'll see that their whole motto is
right.
So, right, exactly. So when you take Justice for All and you look at their content, it's a safe haven for people who want to pile up on individuals. Mallory. There's ones for Bougie, there's ones for me, there's ones for Mittens, everything. But Justice for All is as the example. That narrative about Mallory, about nitpicking everything she does, 5-second clips, finding something wrong in the way that she breathes, has taken hold. So large crowds, like Justice for All's page, they swarm over there. And the target being Mallory, in this case, gets threats, insults, anything they can, and it escalates. But it becomes a collective performance. It becomes content.
And just to prove a point really quick, your comment in your little group chat, that's a public platform just like this is, over 600 people were calling Miss Unknown a schmackhead and asking for a schmack pipe. So your friends, the people you bring around yourself, who you hang out with,
Hold on.
we're doing the same.
We're not going to derail. That's what they want. They want the negative attention back. They're welcome and to talk and to be negative about it. That shows a hell of a lot more about them, their opinions, and how confident they are in their opinions than anything else. And they can think about that. Because if you're not confident enough in your opinion to go face the people that you have those opinions about, maybe you should reevaluate your stance. It's exactly what I'm about to say. It becomes a performance. It becomes content. The content isn't hating me. It isn't hating Bougie. The response that they do because they think people like it. They're trying to create their own content based off of other people. It can be harmful to the people that's the target of it for sure. But they're not thinking about the fact that all they're doing is creating content for people who enjoy harmful content towards other people. There's a perceived positive reinforcement. As they're in that other chat right now, saying, disagreeing and talking shit. Anyone else who disagrees and talks shit and that platform is perceiving to give positive reinforcement, to everybody else. Is there one person over there that's saying, hey, he invited us over, why don't we go take a box? What's the harm in that? The fact that they're not shows how strongly they believe what they're saying, because they're not willing to say it face to face to anybody that they have an opinion about.
Well, can I make a point though that they claim to when you see something, say something. Right? Is that the group we're talking about? Or ask questions, do your own research. Not one person asked a question, and not one person has asked for a receipt, and not one person since then has addressed the fact that what he said was a bold-faced fucking lie after everybody saw that it was.
Yes.
But on the other hand, we're still debating and trying to convince myself, the person that has lived, that my charges are bullshit, or my charges were expunged, or my this, or my. I mean, does anybody does it make any sense? Like, there's no logic, in my opinion. There's no universal rationality logic. None.
I'll tell you. Here's the logic behind it. They are like-minded people who act based off of emotion, whether that emotion be how they feel about somebody else, or what they feel like they're doing for somebody else. They know they're wrong. They know that they're lying 100% of the way. It's just they cannot mentally come to terms with the fact that they are wrong, so they have to continue. Because whatever that block is tells them that they can't be seen as somebody that's wrong.
But what about the accountability, right? If they're over here wanting accountability from people that lied or people that said this and it wasn't right, where's the fucking accountability?
The people that
for somebody lying and making an allegation about me.
The people that demand accountability don't know how to define accountability. They don't know what the definition is. They don't know how to do it themselves. It's just a nice word that they heard that fits the narrative that they want to spend.
Like, where's the accountability of all the allegations that Stephanie made? And then gets in a box and it's like, oh my gosh, are grown kids off limits on this app? Because my sons are all over here after we just watched you post everybody's children, husbands, families on your live. And not one person said a word.
Right. That is because the people who think with logic, they're not loud. There's a lot of background people that see it and that just watch the mess happen. The people that agree with Stephanie, the people that agree with Petty, the people that agree with Holly Mae, Ratina, the vast majority of them are wrong. Because they were wrong on the same subjects and they have to stick together to try to reinforce something. Like, we told you Bougie was a bad person. We told you. And it just doesn't work. And the people that actually do think with logic and see it, they're not loud about it. They're not loud about it. So it doesn't come as any kind of positive reinforcement. They get positive reinforcement from the same people that are trying to not be wrong themselves. And it's false positive reinforcement, which continues to push them to do it. That's why you don't see Holly Mae in a box with you or me. Holly Mae refuses. I get fucked. I went to
She said no. She actually said the other day that she told you the first time that she would get in a box with you, but or you could come to her live, but Bougie better be in a box, just me and her. Bitch, I don't know. But the thing is like, I'm not going into somebody's live that has done nothing but talk about me, literally. Like, I don't go live. I have not been on TikTok much. And still my fucking name floats out her mouth daily about some. She is still playing the replay of Miss Enabler's live when I was taking accountability for the text message that was shown by Stephanie, right? Right? Like, still replaying that, still showing the text messages from Stephanie to prove what exactly? Like, for what?
So she's not wrong. That's it.
But she is wrong because she's showing a doctored message, remember?
Yes, 100%. And they know they're wrong, and people know that they're wrong. It's just they're thinking with the emotions that relate to themselves. They can't.
And I haven't even done half of the fuck shit that Stephanie has, but yet she's welcome back on those platforms regularly after she has done 10 times worse shit than I have. And I think that's fucking wild.
Yeah, because Stephanie fits their narrative. Stephanie can lie. They feel like Stephanie can add to their platform by perpetuating more lies, by doing
Bolster the fucking like, oh, here's another one that knows about bougie. Like, it's fucking annoying.
Yep, and it's all about opinions.
While they're all calling the cops and going to the courthouse crying a fucking river. Like, give me a fucking break, bitches.
It's all opinions, and opinions are not facts, but they're warped.
I don't even think they're opinions. I think it's just bullshit that they say out their fucking mouth. Because again, these are people that don't do their research. These are people that literally just are one-sided. They only have one like side of their brain that actually thinks.
Well, think about
There's
this.
no objectivism and there's no critical thinking.
An opinion is not based in fact. An opinion is what we prefer. So if we take an opinion and we put emotion, behind it, if you listen to the tone of like Holly Mae's voice when she gets self-righteous, that's putting emotion behind that opinion. That will emotionally manipulate people into being like, wow, she's telling the truth. She must be, because she's got emotion behind it.
She's so passionate, yeah. Oh yeah, she's real passionate about her cause, and she must be telling the truth.
Even though she is showing cropped messages, even though that she is showing things that have been disproven before, she does not allow any opposing opinion to be on her platform, because her argument cannot stand the weight of question.
Well, and there's not a fair fight anyways, because if anybody gets in her box, there's 19.
So, can I make sure I got what you're trying to say right? Like a summary, just for my own benefit?
Yeah.
So, what you're trying to say is, instead of listening to everybody else's opinion, instead of watching clips, go watch and research the whole thing and form your own opinion, not just go with the majority.
Or have a conversation with that person and find out for yourself
Well,
if they're as
that
fucking
too.
bad as everybody else thinks. Like, somebody said in the lobby the other day something about me. They're like, oh, I don't like her. And I'm like, who is this bitch? I don't even know her. Like, I have never had conversations with 90% of these folks.
The thing about
But it's
the listening, you have to listen to everybody's opinion. So if Holly Mae has an opinion, 100% hear her out, but do your own individual research on that topic.
I don't think I meant, I misspoke. I didn't mean to not really listen to everybody's. What I meant was, yeah, you could take everybody's opinion into consideration, but like you said, have your own conversation.
People say and what people do, right? But that doesn't mean it. And perception, they say, is reality, but that doesn't make it fact, right? It's your reality. It's your perception. But that doesn't mean that it's true.
A better way to put that would be to take Holly Mae's personal feelings towards you that she's trying to say. She's trying to build a case that's like, look, guys, I'm telling the truth. Believe me, knowing she knows that she's wrong. But she's not able to admit it yet. And I know she's going to hear it. And I want to let her know. And I want to let everybody know that once you're able
to.
Well, and here's the thing. It shouldn't be a competition of who's right and who's wrong. I think with Holly Mae and them, yeah, they are right fighters. Okay, they want to be right. I get it. But you can't be contradictory in your message to your supporters and the people in your live when you're like, oh, do you project it out by you claiming that it's fact? Then that's not really an opinion. Right.
I just want to step out and say that for me, I don't know Holly Mae or anyone else. I was just talking in general as something to make sure as stepping. What'd you say?
I'm talking in general too. I was just saying Holly Mae.
Yeah. I just don't got pushed too far, but I have apologized. I don't want to be that. I don't want
but we're not going to sit here, SJ. We're not going to sit here and bring up every clip of you ever saying a hateful word, or bring up every screenshot of you saying a hateful word, and be like, "Oh my God, look, this is SJ. This is SJ. This is." I mean, do you see what I'm saying? Like, as if none of these people have ever been hateful or have ever said anything fucked up or done anything fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, at what point do people stop demanding accountability? Because again, I don't know why people are entitled to fucking hold people accountable on this fucking app, because we are all internet strangers. Okay, like, sorry, but nobody's gonna demand accountability out of me for a fuck thing. I will hold myself accountable if that is what I choose to do.
A true accountability at that point.
Well, do you guys hear someone? Right, but do you hear all the time, oh, I called them out? First of all, called them out, who the fuck are you to call anybody out? Like, why are you know what I'm saying? Like, unless you're Jesus Christ himself, and accountability. Because again, you can say, hey, I'm not cool with what you said, SJ. SJ, I don't really like what you said. I didn't agree with it. And you can be like, fuck you. And I can be like, just letting you know. But that doesn't mean I have to be like, block, fuck you. Oh my God, look what SJ did. I mean, it's
But
wild
at
to
that
me.
same time, it's my responsibility. If you was to come to me and say that, on the same hand, it is our responsibility, if we value that friendship or that person, to hear them out and see if there's a potential room to change a potential bad behavior or grow.
With that takes
And
conversation. And
right.
conversation
But that takes conversation. Exactly.
And it also
conversation.
takes being quiet and being able to listen to understand. That's the fucking problem.
Well,
People always look at it through their own lens and not through anybody else's.
let me say this. When people like Sunshine they're trying to manipulate the audience. That's all they're trying to do. And I don't know if anybody knows what a Rorschach test is, the ink blot test.
Right?
I do. I know what it is.
That's
I
what they.
do. I know.
That's what Holly Mae does with the clipped, you know, context with the just same shit over and over and over. When you show people the same stuff over and over and over, people start to believe it.
Like, oh my God, that was in 2024. That was, 6 months ago. I've changed. Da, da, da. Okay, why are we still playing clips from 6 months ago? Why are we still playing things from 4 months ago? Why are we still harping on what somebody did in the past, right? If they're not doing it currently, I mean, why are we still trying to force our opinion down somebody's throat by bringing up all the fucking things that they've done in their past? Because I didn't
I,
think any of us have the right to do that.
I'm not going to judge anybody for theirs.
Exactly, that's my point. Because then you hear them saying, "Oh, well, I've changed since then," or whatever. Well, I mean, second of all, maybe I think I've changed too, but that's not up for anybody else to tell me whether or not I have changed. You hear people all the time like, "Oh, you haven't changed. You haven't changed." Who the fuck are you?
Be pushed or advocated to change. We should all be allowed to exist as who we are. And if people don't like it, there's no obligation to continue to watch, to continue to critique, to continue to do anything, especially when there's no constructive conversation that's allowed. When people are in other platforms talking shit about here while they're invited here, that is not conversation. That is critiquing people that you already know that you're never going to like because you don't like who they are, no matter what reason.
Mm-hmm.
They're entitled to not like me. That's fine. I'm not fighting for anybody to like me. But I do urge people that if you don't like me, you absolutely do not have to put yourself in my area. You can ignore me, just as I can ignore other people.
That's the
But
thing is people. That's also a very good point because we all talk about, oh, I don't mess with her. I don't do that. I don't. Well, then stop fucking streaming me.
right,
Stop watching Holly Mae. I do watch some shit on YouTube, but I am not in your fucking live because I don't give a fuck about you.
the thing
Okay?
is, when people say, "Hey, they're in my live on a backup," that's just reinforcement of like negative propaganda that reinforces the fact,
Mm-hmm. Everybody starts talking shit.
and that is what it's the reward that she's looking
Mm-hmm.
for.
Yep.
So she feels that harassment isn't bad when she's rewarded for the behavior.
Right. But yet she's a victim of everything. What the fuck you talking about?
I've seen that comment, but I would like to say something about accountability. Who who preaching and demanding for accountability can actually define it without going to Google? You're gonna have to go to Google to figure out what it is. So Holly May,
Accountability basically is it's the action of taking responsibility of something you may have done wrong in order to fix it and not do it again.
so who is required that accountability?
Can
Like
you ask that again?
If I do something wrong to you, SJ, who do I owe that accountability to?
Me, I would assume me and yourself, right?
In a way, the accountability is the freedom to continue and move forward. When people
Right.
say, I want accountability, and then you're going to take accountability, they can say that all they want. But that accountability is years out. If I do something wrong to you, my accountability to you is not doing that to somebody else and changing that behavior and recognizing it before I do it to somebody else. There's no way that if I do you wrong that I can actually make up for it other than that way.
It's like living the apology. It's the same principle. If you apologize to somebody and you truly are sorry, you live that apology by changing that behavior towards everybody, not just one person.
Yes, and people who demand accountability don't allow the space for it to happen because they always bring up the past and they always try to get people on the bandwagon to say, fuck this person. And they get rewarded for that behavior because of the interaction that they get.
That just, I just, I just wish all of it would stop. Anyway, that's the only reason why I actually got up in the box, was to make sure I understood what you were saying correctly. And I appreciate what y'all are doing. And I hope each and every one of y'all have a good night.
I appreciate you, SJ.
Bye.
Bougie's Freeway. There's plenty of off ramps. There's plenty of ways to get off of that, but she chooses not to because she says Bougie is a bad person. She preempts the audience with the negativity that she feels about Bougie. So when they see a clip or they see anything about her, it's already perceived as being negative. Anything. There's no unbiased showing of any clips, and if there was, it wouldn't fit anybody's narrative. She takes no context and puts it out there and adds her own context to it. What she assumes, her opinion, and she uses emotion to really push it home to the people listening as fact. And then she looks for the response, and she soaks it all in. She loves it. Say fuck Bougie, and she becomes validated.
I would really like somebody else to take that role, if that's cool, because it's been way too long. I'm over it.
Look, you're doing good things for Holly Mae. You're really making her feel like she matters. Come over here and do it. But we all know there's unbiased platforms that go on that have somebody that would mediate, like Megan, who would mediate and ask questions on both sides instead of just saying, this is my friend, I'm taking their side. You got to remove all bias from a conversation. Open your mind.
I mean, define past.
You guys go back to the slot days, do you not?
Well, yeah, but I went after Slot. She was Slot's friend and agreed with Slot. I mean, that's where it goes back. We were butting heads back then, obviously, but because of my position on Slot and her position on Slot.
Well,
I mean,
Slot
everybody
did
was
some fucked up shit.
Well, at that time, though, nobody thought she was doing fucked up shit. You see what I'm saying?
There were some people that did. But
Well,
anyway.
yeah, I know, because I had a group, yeah, but I'm saying, like, on that side, they, in particular, did not. And they were in the opposition of what we were saying, that we felt like Slot was scamming and was lying.
Look, I have backed people that
enough to where she felt comfortable enough to tell me her whole DV story and things.
Yeah.
That's my point. I have never, ever repeated it. I have never shown the messages. None of that shit. So that's the thing, is like, she doesn't ever talk about that. And listen, again, I don't go live, Rem. I don't go in boxes and just talk about Holly Mae. But my fucking name is constantly coming out of her fucking mouth in every live.
Not all lives. Not all of them.
99.9% of them.
Not all of them.
There's a psychological is against Bougie because Holly Mae was Slot's friend.
No, it actually started that way, but I will be honest, it's not. It's because of a fundraiser that Slot was doing for one of Holly Mae's friends that at the time we said Holly Mae's friends. And we have talked about that. I have cleared the air.
Oh,
We have
it's
definitely had the
Ratina.
conversation, but at the end of the day, I mean, she keeps wanting to go back. So I don't know what to I mean, I really don't. I think a lot of it too is the Pastor Petty thing. And they really believed that I was lying about what I was exposing about Petty. And I mean, they've twisted and turned all that shit. And it's still what it is now. I mean,
Well, hold on.
they hold me to a standard they don't hold Petty.
Hold on. Let me finish what I was saying. Holly Mae and Slot were friends. You were going after Slot for that bad behavior. Now, when you were going after Slot, at the end of the day, did you happen to be right? Happen to be right?
Yes,
So,
clearly.
the fact that Holly Mae had defended Slot while you were right would tell you that Holly Mae was wrong in her position defending Slot, which would build that bias against you because Holly Mae cannot admit when she is wrong, which then translated over to Pastor Petty, where you were calling.
Well, it translated over to Ratina, who after that was trying to prove I was wrong about talking to cops and stuff about Slot. So she went on this thing for Holly Mae or with Holly Mae to like prove that I didn't talk to the detective or I didn't have any, all the thing. It was like they couldn't admit that they were wrong about me saying she was a scammer. Then when she was arrested and charged, they couldn't admit that I knew what the fuck I was talking about because I had talked to the detective. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Well,
a constant.
Ratina's gross. We're gonna nix Ratina out because it's like she's gross. She'll do anything. Like everybody already sees who Ratina is, from the contacting the abuser to doing whatever she can gross to Mallory, all that. Awful person. So we can just say Ratina probably added to the fire. But then you were calling out Petty. Holly Mae was defending him, and you were right again. Which then,
Well, they still won't tell you I'm right though. That's the thing is they still want to believe what he says and so it's I mean if you can't bridge that gap,
they
I
don't.
don't know what to tell you. But a lot of it also was me hanging out with Stephanie and the back and forth and all the shit in the lives then, right? And
Now,
I mean Stephanie gets fucking forgiveness out the whole ass for like all of that, but
you
and
want
I
to know?
didn't do half of that shit.
You want to know
What?
the real reason why I initially went at you was because you were fucking around with Stephanie.
Really?
Yeah,
Bitch, I wish you would have told me. Fuck. Well, I
I
wouldn't have listened just like me. Fuck. Well, I wouldn't have listened just like I didn't listen to others. You're right.
I did, but the same thing I said when I'm like, I wish I would have seen this proof about Petty, and then I see you green screening the fact that he did do that stuff, and I'm like, damn, I wasn't even paying attention. Like, if I would have been paying attention back then, I'd have seen, and that's it's coming to terms with being more observant. And
Well, it's about being objective too. And again, I showed what I showed. I've said what I've said, but nobody has gone over there and like an attorney would in court asked the question. Well, what about this and what about this? They're showing this and that. Like nothing, just like with the stalking thing.
yeah,
Whatever,
they
Pastor
don't.
Petty, it was proven that she didn't stalk you. What the fuck? Why did you lie? Like nobody gives a fuck. They just gloss over that. They're still focused on what I said 18 fucking months ago in a chat.
They're not willing to admit that they support that. They purposefully refuse to look at evidence that shows that. They purposefully refuse to talk about it. They do the same thing. They purposely refuse to show that you were right, because then that would destroy their narrative. Because attention on TikTok, if you TikTok, if you think about it like money, what's the quickest way for Holly Mae to get a little bit of attention on TikTok? It's to mention you.
Oh, every fucking time. Yeah. Same with Stephanie. And then
Same.
they all do it. And then they all join together. And again, like I said, the other day I was really nauseated listening to Stephanie and Bree's live where they're talking about how children should be off limits. And she's like, can we clarify? Does that mean adult children too? And they're like, all kids. And she's like, because my son's all over this app and did it. And I'll never forget Bougie and Florida Man for going real life on me, which I'm still waiting to figure out what that means. And yet nobody said a word about the fact that just a month ago, she was over here showing all of our children and our homes and our ex-husbands and our, fucking panties that we fucking had 17 years ago and all the fucking things.
So,
right?
has Holly Mae ever said that she needs to protect the community from you?
No, no.
She has said that about other people, where she's like, "Oh yeah, got to protect the kids, protect the community, protect all that."
Oh yeah, hide your kids, Bougie's here.
Well,
For
she's
sure.
reinforcing to everybody that she's talking to, and that just only hears her side, that she has some kind of moral, like, license, moral rights to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's her rights to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's her
Right.
duty to do it. So then she could take a conversation of protect kids, which everybody agrees with, and then turn it into fuck bougie. Now that she's got a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of people agreeing with her.
Well, you remember when you had a conversation with her, when you and I first talked, like not even 24 hours after we had first talked? It was the fear. It was the whole, app was so fearful of the fact that when Stephanie showed those messages that, I had sent some people's information to her, right? And it was, she got in a box with you and was like, Florida man, there's some of us that are, DV survivors and and she's got our information. And I was sitting back there like, girl, I don't know why you're even engaging in this, because you of all people know that it's been well over a year and a half. You're not in there, you're not in there
So
one time. Has your
when
story that you told me come out ever?
when I first talked to you, I let everybody know the day of. In a box, yeah, I'm talking to Bougie. Everybody lost their mind. Okay.
Their
Not
fucking mind, yeah.
everybody. You can't put everybody in there.
Well, everybody meaning like the people that were yelling at me for 45 minutes in a box. Well, I sat there and I took it. I mean, I was respectful to it. I mean, I was respectful to him. I was open to a conversation, but that's what happens when you're open to a conversation. That people aren't allowing you to speak back. Where Holly Mae was yelling at me for 45 minutes. I still have that clip. I watch it every now and then. So I think I'm a bitch, but whatever.
And it was right after that conversation that Petty then started his story that I stalked him. Like, he fed off of that and the fear, right? The fear mongering that was being created in that live with you by Holly Mae, that, oh my God, Bougie has people's information and some of us are in fear of, all the things. And then it trickled down into that, and you see what I'm saying? People will feed off of other, it trickled down into that, and you see what I'm saying? People will feed off of other people's narratives and then make it their own.
Yeah.
Cough,
So
cough, heavens, cowgirl.
that response that I got from talking to you, it was high energy from a lot of people. So when things are based in fact, you don't need to push that much energy out because you're confident. But when things are fake, when you are doing something on the narrative of, I need to do this to protect me or to protect my interest, you have an awful lot more energy about yourself. Like, you almost want to force people to believe this way.
But that could have been an opportunity for her, actually, to calm those people that were freaked out and be like, listen, guys, I don't fucking like her, but I don't think, anybody has anything to worry about, because literally she has had my story for this long and has never said anything. Jumped on the fucking train and incited the fear and incited, the anxiety in people, which really, I mean, again, of course it promoted her, but at the end of the day, it's bullshit, frankly.
So
Bullshit.
I'll tell you that people do pay attention to that. It's just a lot of people can't put reasoning behind it. And if they're unable to put a reasoning behind it, then that's when they don't know, the evidence behind it. So when you say that Holly Mae, there has to be a justifiable reason for why she took the path she did, and when you explain the reasoning behind what she did instead of what she could have done, that's when people start to really realize the behavior, the patterns, they line up. So the fact that she got emotional and yelled at me for 45 minutes with this unknown would tell you that she needed to protect something that couldn't get out. She couldn't let it snowball, because then she would have no more access to the quick validation.
Actually, it was like, well, did you correct Bougie when she said the N-word about Miss Unknown? And it was like, smash.
Right.
It was your live. You agreed that I did not say anything about Miss Unknown. Now here we are again because you don't like me again, but you're gonna now go back to a different narrative.
Why did she do that?
I don't fucking know, because she wants to be good with these folks.
She did that because racism, the response is big. Now, with that big response comes an incentive to dogpile on people, for everybody to attack the target because they all want to be involved because they're all so against racism.
But it
No,
was
exactly, because it's what Eddie does, it's what Holly Mae does, it's what Rutina does, it's what Miss Sunshine does, it's what everybody does. They will go and they will just say whatever they want to get the immediate effect and then worry about the consequences of that immediate effect. That's why I tell people, don't let Miss Sunshine deflect. Don't let Miss Sunshine throw people under the bus. Deal with any feelings you have about anybody else after the problem is dealt with. After the problem is dealt with. Because then you give no time for that person to deflect, no time for that time to pass, and people forget about it. No excuse.
I don't think people care. I've come to the conclusion that there are people that don't care about black and white truth. Like even Miss Unknown saw it so bad for that text to actually be about her so that it would justify what she's continuing to run with.
Yeah. You're used as a deflection method for people who want that reward. Smashley sees what your name does for Holly Mae, and
They all align at some fucking point because of the hate bonding, because that's exactly what it is.
yep,
It's weird. It's wild.
it's a scenario where a bias against somebody is the whole story. They could go live and say, if Holly Mae went live and said, I just don't like bougie fucker, there would be nothing wrong with that. The fact that
She has said that. She has said that.
yes, but the fact that she's using out of context clips to reinforce that fact and to incite other people to not like people, it puts it into perspective.
I brought my daughter to this app, right? The one that's in a DV situation. And he has recently gone all the way back to what, December 30th or something like that, when I was in Slot's box, when I first came on the app ever, right? And she shows the chat where I made a comment saying, if there was anybody in or around Atlanta, blah, 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 if I could get my daughter a safe place, could somebody help me, right? Instead of like ever really listening to the whole story on that, right? Because after that, I mean, I never talked about it again. But then when my daughter was Bougie's daughter is in a DV situation, and Holly Mae said, hold on a minute. First of all, she's not a kid. She's a fucking adult. And number two, her mom shouldn't have brought her to the fucking app. And I've always said, I brought my daughter's story to this app. I did not bring her, right? At that time, well, still, that doesn't matter. That wasn't it. Her being a victim, it didn't matter. If it was anybody else that was a victim, it would have mattered, right? But not my daughter, because she's Bougie's kid, and Bougie brought her to the app. And again, like, we have had conversations about this, right? It's wild to me that it is okay for one and not for the other. And we're talking about December of 2023, okay?
All right, well then if it's okay for your kid to be brought to the app because you brought her, okay, just hear me out.
I brought her story.
Wait a minute. Listen to the whole statement before you say something. Listen.
Okay.
If it's okay to bring your daughter, then it's okay to bring Stephanie's son because Stephanie posted her kid and Shannon posted her kid and X, Y, and Z posted X, Y, and Z, so it doesn't matter. So fuck it all.
I just don't think, why are we bringing anybody on the app that's not on this app? If your beef is with me, it should stay with me.
That's what, if you would listen with your ears.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Nobody's kids should be brought to the app. Nobody's kids. I don't give a fuck how old they are or are not.
So it is an issue for sure, but it's an issue that can be avoided. So we wouldn't have to talk about people bringing people's kids to the apps if certain behaviors weren't continuously repeated in efforts to silence and isolate people. So if you look at people that are doing it and you recognize that this is what they're trying to do, all of that can be avoided. So, Bougie, did you feel, when you were attacked by Petty, Holly Mae, Slot, did you feel isolated?
Oh, very much so.
Did you feel like people were listening to you?
Oh, they would never. I didn't get on for them to even attempt to try to get them to listen because I knew it wouldn't happen.
From
Yep.
experience, I didn't listen to you.
To be fair, you weren't exactly the most open person to talk to either. I can't tell you how many times I got blocked out of a live because of you, Bougie.
It's
Yeah,
Oh,
well, I mean,
Jesus
of
Christ,
course,
it's
yeah.
fucking Rem. Block that bitch.
Well, that was whenever I was with Stephanie, but I didn't really go live before that. Like, I hardly ever really. Couldn't that be said the same for Petty? Because they say, "Oh, I spoke on Petty's kids," but Petty brought his kids to the app. Are they not? Do we not all hear them when he's live?
You didn't really speak on Petty's kids. You spoke about
No,
the
I
the
spoke
facts.
for.
You
Yeah,
spoke
but I'm
for.
saying like, but the concept is the same, correct? So, I mean, if me talking about my child to Slot is bringing her to the app, then isn't Petty bringing his kids to the app? Because, I mean, we hear them,
We need
right?
we need to get
Same
out.
thing with Megan.
We need to get out of that mindset though, because we should all be
Right.
able to exist how we choose to talk about what we want. Stuff like that should not be used as a weapon against anybody. Not Stephanie, not Holly Mae, not Bougie, not Petty, not nobody. When it's different when you speak about facts of like abuse. Yeah, sure, people should be aware, 100%, especially when they're lying. But the thing is the behavior to look for is when they're trying to rally the masses against somebody, when they're showing receipts randomly, when they're showing out of context stuff, and they're trying to get as many people as they can to agree with them and not like this person, it means that they're uncomfortable. That the person that they're trying to silence and get people to not like, not listen to, it means that they make them uncomfortable. Not in a way where like a creep would make somebody uncomfortable, but in a way where it would disrupt any kind of control or like money or something. So they have to silence that person. So the same thing happens all the time.
I mean, I keep hearing recently about Holly Mae, and my life's been messed with in my life. People going real life on me, and but at the same time, nobody is saying that. I mean, how I've been, what Petty started going real life on me, what, over a year ago?
Well, that's just
My nincompoop is in their boxes on a regular basis until recently.
that's just reflection.
That she has shown my house and incited people to come essay me in my motherfucking house.
Yeah, that's all deflection. They deflect off of the bad behavior that they do, so they don't have to deal with the same things they ask of everybody else, which is accountability. So if we don't let deflection bother us, and we don't give that emotional response to it, we can actually focus on the problem that creates all this, and that is the people that do it. So with you being isolated in those times, Holly Nail say, "Oh, well, they went real life on me."
Bitch, you think that I'm not scared of my daughter and her abuser?
Well,
Like, why would you not have that same compassion towards anybody, no matter whose fucking kid it is, because you've been in that situation? Like, why instead do we just be like, fuck it, it's Bougie's kid. We don't care.
When you say it like that, that shows self-centered behavior. It shows that nobody else matters but who matters
Florida
to
man,
you.
you're in a wind tunnel. You're killing me.
Like, do we need to get? It sounds like you're like literally a Wizard
I'm
of
out,
Oz.
I'm out walking because I'm
Oh,
exercising.
all right.
But so when they do that, it shows that they're self-centered. They want the power all consolidated to them, because when they ignite the crowd with heat, with negative control, and that they're able to tell people what to do, not directly, but with social cues. So they're afraid somebody's going to expose something that's going to break that down. And when you become silent,
Sorry, I thought you were done. Sorry, go ahead.
when you become silent, that's when they can change everything. They can change the narrative. They can change who said what. And it's just to the people that fell for that trick. Everybody's got some intelligence in them. It's just maybe they don't. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're looking up behavior patterns and trying to place that with people that do this shit on the internet that is actually harming other people. They want status. Holly Mae wants status. She wants to be empowered. So does Sunshine. This isn't just about Holly Mae. And because power brings a kind of privilege, you know what I mean? Like if you're in power, you get more privileged stuff. Like people are willing to do stuff for you. People are willing to.
Well, you get flattery on this app. If you're in that position, you get people that are always complimenting you. They're always watching you. They're supporting you. They're always in other people's lives, like, applauding you, and, oh, Holly Mae's this and Holly Mae's that, or whatever. It's so. I mean, it is. I think a kind of, it fills a void that some people have. I guess, I don't fucking know. It's like popularity. It's weird.
It makes sense. So when people are denied a platform to speak directly to the people that they have an issue with, a fair and balanced back and forth, nobody questions the motive of the person that denies the opportunity for conversation. If people questioned why this person didn't want to come have a conversation, they want to get an answer because they don't know. They're not ready for that answer. If you ask anybody in that Patreon chat that's watching, that's talking shit, why nobody came in for a box, well, you wouldn't have an answer because we're all civil over here. Then Bougie has been a snark, Bougie, and they do that on purpose because then nobody wants to have that conversation with them. The same thing that Petty did to Bougie, labeled her, unhinged, extreme. Nobody wanted to have that conversation with her because they were afraid. When you instill fear into people having conversations with people with an opposing opinion, you're a dick. I want anybody to pull one clip from my whole time on TikTok that ever says, don't go talk to that person. You can't.
Nope.
And the thing is, what's happening, Bougie, Snark, Mittens, Karma, all the people, there's more. It's easier to punish a person than it is to fix the problem. It's easier to say fuck Bougie than it is to say, well, Holly Mae, how about you stop? Or Miss Sunshine, how about you stop?
Well, they all say, when's it going to stop? We want it to stop, but you don't if you're continuing to like fucking bring up old shit. You're continuing to say my name. It isn't going to fucking stop. I'm not on the, like, you haven't heard me going in here talking shit in a while. I've not like done the shit that I did with Stephanie in months, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, because I'm associated with you, Florida man, do I get now all of that bullshit? Like, it's fucking weird. That's so fucking
You deserve it. Look, somebody's got to take the bullshit sometimes, and I'm sick of it. I'll
when
switch
the fuck
DMs
is my time over? When do we switch?
It's never over. It's always going to be you because I picked you. And there's probably 1,000 people listening to my voice right now going, yep, that's right. Fuck off.
Everybody.
I'm just joking.
Everybody.
Where's your friend Moonbeam been?
So they want the identity with that platform, with Holly Mae, with Sunshine. They'll take the evidence later, but if there's no real credible evidence to show, there has to be some type of incitement, some type of reminder that this person is evil, some type of shit talk.
Or they excuse the evidence. They're like, oh, no, we know things can be doctored. We know things can be made up. Yeah, but when you show, we're all...
And people are more likely to take something that's simple and claim it as fact because they don't want to put the extra effort into the truth. Trust me, the truth is not simple. I
don't understand why it's just so hard to say, I don't like you, I don't give a fuck about you, and just don't stream me, don't watch me, don't listen to me, don't follow me the fuck around, don't talk about me, right? Like, why is that so hard? Why can't you just say, I'm not really cool with that person, I'm good, move on.
I'm getting that. That will be covered because...
Okay, sorry.
NAP.
I am
NAP,
dead, girl.
NAP status. Before somebody goes saying Rem threatening her, no, I'm not. NAP. NAP. Fuck.
So I don't give a fuck if anybody says Rem threatened her. I'm not going to hold Rem accountable for anything because I'm not in any position to hold anybody. Accountable. I'm actually trying to let everybody see that they might be making a mistake by being so nitpicky with everybody. And, just using small things that don't matter as ways to attack people. So.
Be careful. They're going to say you're scared of me.
Oh, I don't care. That's the thing though. If they're not willing to come to me, take a box with me, text me, and say it to me, and have that conversation with me, what they say carries no weight to me.
Right. And I don't even care if people take a box with me, but here's the thing. There have been so many things said about what I do or what I don't do or what I've said and what I've not said that with 75% with no receipts, and the receipts that they do show, again, out of context or don't give a fuck about my side. But I mean, we'll run with some shit just because somebody fucking said it.
Don't
All
worry
right,
about
you
it.
ready? Sorry,
Yes.
Florida man, real quick. My right ass cheek hurts, and it's Bougie's fault. Did everybody get that?
Damn.
So
It's not me, Nelson. It's Florida man. The fuck?
that's the thing. I'm not going to name anybody in particular, and I don't want anybody else to name anybody. What I want people to do is I want people to just listen and listen to these traits and just think about it. Who does it remind you of? And it's not any one person to give that hint. People that use loaded terms that carry moral weight, like, racism or anything like that. People who cherry pick clips, use cropped screenshots, skew the context of the situation. People who say, you're with us or you're with them, face people with opinions one-on-one. People who preempt their audience with negativity or positivity if they're trying to defend that person. Everybody can think for themselves. Everybody can come to their own opinions. But if you see any of those behaviors, there's always an ulterior motive behind it. And there's always, from talking to the other side, that's because what they're trying to push isn't factual. I'm confident enough to say that anything that I say, you can Google it. You can do your own research on it. If people who have to put up, receipts on a green screen randomly to be like, oh, fuck this person, everybody should go get him. What good does that do? What would do better would be to have that person talking in front of all these people. And Holly Mae, me, Bougie, Sunshine, Snark, we're all in the same community. Petty. But the community doesn't share the same morals. So it's fractured. But the only reason that we're in the same community is because we know the conversation won't happen. But they keep streaming. They keep watching. They keep dragging people that they don't like into being a part of their community. It's their own fault if they don't like me. They keep bringing me back in. They try to suppress everything that would, make them look bad. They try to manage what everybody to manage what people see. They're not going to see it if they think it's fake.
Right.
They put no effort into improving their behavior. And a big part of improving your behavior is being able to admit when you have done the same things. Which I have. A lot of people have. And I can say why I did it, because I was being a dick. I've went live and incited people to go attack somebody. 100% it is wrong. It's still behavior that you have to watch out for, even from me. It becomes a cycle. They can't stop. They become hooked on the idea that they have to do this to get the same result or a better result. But all in all, they just get diminishing returns every single time because they're not putting anything out there that is healthy.
I think people thrive on drama and chaos too, really. I do.
Yeah. Yep. And they're not doing it for money. They're doing it because that validation, the response, the uproar from the people, the feel and control.
Giving your narrative or stopping and being like, well, what about you? Da, 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 da. Like, it's never anything positive. Like, people really do thrive on negativity on this fucking app. It's weird.
Yeah. But we can change that. We can change that by making sure that the people that are
in this world that has the fucking right to think and say what the fuck we want without it being a like, Is
No,
that not
no,
what?
we lost that yesterday.
Oh shit. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. I didn't know. I haven't been on much.
Day late. Yesterday they removed Jimmy Kimmel Live from the air because of threats of taking away ABC's licensing on comments made about Charlie Kirk. And that is a direct violation of the First Amendment, which tells me that it is censorship. And yeah, so no, technically, no, we don't live in a country that we can say what we want. We have to
But
say what's
I
best.
don't see people though here on this app. I'm not going to get started on the Charlie Kirk fucking rabbit hole, but I don't see people on this app that can just appreciate or respect that somebody has a difference of opinion, or we might not agree. Can whatever happened to agree play a part in how we perceive things, but also, I mean, just move on without it being a fucking problem, without having to bring it up or without having to like dog walk people. Like
We
it's
can get there.
weird.
We can get there. People got to do stuff. People got to be self-aware. The people watching have to be self-aware of things that they can do. And if the people do these things, it doesn't even take 100% of the people to do these things. It doesn't even take 100% of the people to do these things. It just takes enough times, and people see it's not as easy to get away with it anymore. And that is when people are dog walking people on a live, demand receipts. Interrupt the live. That claim right there, where's your receipt?
Well, they say see.
Where's your receipt?
Well, they say say something. When you see something, say something. But when somebody says something, then they get called the fuck out. Oh, get in a box. Why don't you get in a box? Like
That's intimidation.
nobody wants to fucking do that.
Yeah, that's okay. That's intimidation. Nobody should be intimidated for requesting proof. Every claim, it needs some source. It needs a source. That's it.
But I also don't think that people have to. I mean, if somebody's saying something, for example, like last night, if somebody is saying something about their life, I don't know that we have the right to just demand receipt. Like, who the fuck am I to say, show me your kid?
Oh, no.
Your kid.
Oh, no. No. Nothing like that. That's
I
personal.
need to know. You need to tell me that you have an actual kid. I need to see proof that you have. Like, who the fuck are we?
That's
I need to see proof that you have cancer. I need to see proof that you this, that, and third.
that's a whole different one. That's a whole different version. Let me finish this one, and then we'll get to that one. So when you demand the receipts and you don't see the receipts from the people, that means there's no claim.
It was like whenever you were doing my airline ticket, they wanted receipts on my bank to see what I paid for, right? To see if I paid.
Yeah.
I don't even know why. I said I didn't do it. I wasn't there.
Well,
that
the
he's
airline-
lying, but yet I had to show receipts.
The airline ticket wasn't even like the main selling point. It was the fact that they already had the main receipt in their hand and they didn't read it. They didn't need anything else. It was there. So receipts were provided, but people must read the receipts.
But again, I'm saying I shouldn't have had to provide any receipts when I'm saying, excuse me, I'm being accused of stalking somebody in real life with no receipts by that person. Why am I having to fucking prove myself that I didn't do it? That's wild.
Hold on, no. You gotta understand. When claims are made, then the receipt automatically. And if you approach situations of people getting dog walked on the internet with unbiased, let me finish. It's a whole thing. You have to demand the receipt from the people making the claims. If the people making the claims cannot provide you a valid receipt with timestamps, with full context, there's no validity to that claim at all.
Didn't do it. It's the other side to prove they did.
But then to be able to do that, you have to separate the people. You have to take the person away from the action, because then your bias for that person is not in play. Mm-hmm. If people don't like you, take you out of it. Somebody did this to him. Take both of you out of it. Random person did this to this. Is it right or wrong? Where's the receipts?
And if a lot of people say that, for example, a lot of people are like, oh, she went real life with me. Oh, she's done this. Oh, she's done that. So then people hear that and they're like, oh, she's done this to me. Like, it's just easy because they can say, oh, well, she did this to me, even though it's not true. Heavens, cowgirl, Stephanie. And the other people are like, yeah, I know she did it to me. Like, it's, everybody believes it, but there's no fucking proof. It's wild.
Then it's a big long thing. Give me 1 second. Just let me get through it because it's in my mind. After you do that, after you separate,
Florida man, you need to drink some water and take a breath. You're struggling. I can hear it in your voice.
A little bit. I'm struggling. So after you take the people away from it, you have to go and talk to the people that disagree with you. Even if you agree with the initial plan, you have to talk to the people that disagree with you. And it's not an argument. It's not a fight. They're not insulting you. You take their disagreement and you use it as data and you put it together with the whole story. If people disagree with you and you take that as an attack, you'll never get anywhere. As Bougie said, there's due process with everything. Like, what? We just say somebody's guilty, that's it? Fuck them? That's what people try to do. They work off of that quick, wanting to solve it right now, be angry, work off of emotions. And then when they realize they're wrong and they have to clean it up later, from the people that agree with them, that were wrong, that stick with them, knowing they're wrong, protecting themselves, the validation is a lot to a lot of people. So when you try to silence somebody, argument is not between the people that get brought into it. It's a tactic used for people to silence, because if you don't listen to me, I'm going to ruin your life, is what they say. And lies spread faster than any truth. Truth takes research. It takes time. Is it something that you need to take action on? If the answer is no, have your opinion about it, but don't act. Don't do weird shit for someone else, because that someone else ain't going to do that weird shit for you. People that continuously try to get people to attack people lose trust, as with Miss Sunshine. You begin to have to start to play the victim and lie and make people feel a kind of way to then get people to do what you say. Miss Sunshine can no longer go live and say anything that holds any credibility whatsoever. She must lie. Same with Holly Mae. Same with Petty. Same with a lot of people. Nobody takes accountability. Accountability isn't something that you take, it's something that you go through. You're never going to be able to even look at anybody who says you have to take accountability for your actions as an excuse as to why they don't like somebody. Because the apology is not the accountability. That's what people will define as accountability, the apology. Using correct terms and correct definitions, then they get confused. Well, both. You say nothing about apologize. And it's all really just, if you look up propaganda and how people use it, you'll see a correlation with what a lot of people do. The correlation's there with what everybody has done. I have used the technique, Holly Mae, Regina, Petty, Miss Sunshine for sure, recently. If anybody takes it, what I'm saying, as an attack, maybe they need to look at themselves. Game. Knowing that further, I'm going to attempt to not do them. And if I do, well, I've just told on myself today with the behaviors and the activity that's involved in it, and people are more than willing to question me about it. Everybody needs, in their own life, this is an app on the internet where people have turned positive discussion into a disagreement is a weapon. And it's an weapon. And it's an attack. And then they turn disagreements into all-out, years-long war, where one side will want resolution, but the side that might be wrong, they don't, because they're not willing to come to terms with the fact that they're wrong. And that's a big problem. People can say, me saying I'm wrong comes off in a more genuine way because I'm not following it up with fucking the sunshine. It's how people talk and how people put it together, where people can manipulate people into trusting them. That way they can then manipulate their emotions to give social cues. Going at this person is ridiculous. People are still going to do it to me, and I don't care. If I am why people live, if I am the star in their story, so be it. Good example is Bougie to Holly Mae. Bougie is the star in Holly Mae's story because, well, can't stop mentioning them. But we also have to control ourselves. We have to keep our emotions under control. When somebody says something about us that we know it's a lie, it's really hard to not get emotionally charged and be like, no, fuck you, that's wrong. And the want to defend yourself. Because we've all seen people use silence. Which one's more logical? Look at the facts. What's the argument about? We'll use Petty as an example. He abused the shout. Fair enough. Where's the facts? There's the court documents. They're there. It's verifiable proof that went through the United States court system. So, when there's undeniable proof like that, logic has to say what this side is saying is facts and why the other side is nature. If that's your style of people, that's your style of people. Nobody's going to judge you. But we also don't have to fuck with each other. Like, if I don't like you, you don't need to stream me. If you don't like Bougie, you don't need to bring it in. When it comes to Mallory, she is the star in many stories. Like, she has polarized an entire group of people. Justice for all of them. They just can't stop watching her. They just can't stop